I told my friend about what her fiancé drunkenly said to me, and I might have ruined the wedding. I, 29F, have been best friends with Emma, 29F, since we were kids. We've been through everything together: school, breakups, job changes, you name it. We've always had that kind of friendship where we could tell each other anything, and even if we fought, we knew we'd always make up. Emma's like a sister to me, and I always assumed I'd be a part of her life forever, including standing beside her as her maid of honor at her wedding. Emma's fiancé, Ryan, 35M, entered the picture about 2 years ago. He's charming, funny, and they seem like a good match. At first, I was happy for her. But over time, something about Ryan didn't sit right with me. It wasn't anything huge, just little things, like how he'd occasionally be too flirty when Emma wasn't around, or how he'd make comments about how alike Emma and I looked. We do resemble each other a bit, with similar hair color and build, but it always felt weird to me when he'd bring it up. The night everything changed, Emma had a big party to celebrate her engagement. There was a lot of drinking, dancing, and overall excitement. I had a few drinks myself but was pacing things so I wouldn't get too tipsy. Ryan, on the other hand, had been drinking pretty heavily. At one point, when Emma had stepped out to talk to some other friends, Ryan and I found ourselves alone on the patio. That's when he leaned in close and whispered something that made my stomach drop. "I always thought you were cute, you know? We could sneak somewhere else if you want." I was stunned. I didn't know what to say, so I just kind of laughed it off awkwardly, figuring he was just drunk and confused. It was uncomfortable, but part of me thought maybe he was just drunk and mistaking me for Emma. After all, people mix us up all the time, especially when alcohol is involved. But there was something about the way he said it that didn't sit right with me. It felt intentional, like he wasn't just confusing me for her. I spent the next few days agonizing over whether to tell Emma. I mean, Ryan was drunk, and people say stupid things when they're drunk, right? But what if this wasn't just a mistake? What if Ryan had been harboring these thoughts all along? The last thing I wanted was to ruin her engagement, but I also couldn't shake the feeling that keeping this from her would be wrong. So, I made the decision to tell her. When I brought it up, I tried to be as gentle as possible. I told her what had happened, explained that Ryan had been drinking a lot, and said that while I wasn't sure what his intentions were, I thought she should know. Emma didn't take it well. At first, she didn't say much, just kind of nodded, but I could tell she was upset. I reassured her that I wasn't trying to accuse Ryan of anything, just that I wanted to be honest with her. But the next day, I got a very different reaction. Emma called me furious. She accused me of trying to sabotage her engagement, saying I was jealous of her relationship with Ryan. She brought up things from our past that I thought had long been resolved, like how I'd gotten into a relationship before she did back in high school and how she felt like I always had to be the center of attention. I was completely blindsided. She told me that I was no longer her maid of honor and that she didn't even know if she wanted me at the wedding at all. Hearing that from Emma, the person I thought would always have my back, was gut-wrenching. I tried to explain that I wasn't jealous, that I was just trying to look out for her, but she wouldn't hear it. She said I'd crossed a line and accused me of making things up to stir drama. Now, I'm left feeling completely lost. I didn't think I did anything wrong by telling her the truth, but now I'm questioning everything. Did I overreact to what Ryan said? Was I wrong to tell her? Maybe I misread the situation, but I didn't want to keep it from her and risk something worse happening down the line. On the other hand, Emma's reaction has me wondering if I should have just let it go, chalked it up to Ryan being drunk, and moved on. I feel like I'm losing my best friend over something that wasn't even my fault, and I don't know if there's any coming back from this. Update. After I posted the original story, I wasn't sure if Emma would ever talk to me again. She hadn't spoken to me for a week after she dropped me as her maid of honor, and I didn't want to push things further. But then, she reached out and asked if we could meet up to talk. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I hoped it meant she had cooled down and was ready to listen. We met at a coffee shop, and right away, I could tell something had shifted. Emma looked exhausted, like she hadn't been sleeping well. She started by apologizing for how she reacted when I told her about Ryan. She said that hearing what I told her triggered a lot of old insecurities she had about our friendship, insecurities that she had never really dealt with. She admitted that she'd always felt a little overshadowed by me, even though she knew I never intentionally made her feel that way. It was hard for her to see past those feelings when I told her about Ryan, which is why she lashed out the way she did. Then, she told me something that I didn't expect. After we talked, she confronted Ryan about what I'd told her, and at first, he denied it. But later, when she pressed him, he admitted that he did say what I claimed, though he insisted he was just drunk and didn't mean it seriously. Emma told me she wasn't sure if she believed him. She said she had been noticing small things that made her question their relationship even before I told her about the comment, and now she wasn't sure what to think. We talked for a long time that day, not just about Ryan, but about our friendship. Emma confessed that she had always been afraid I'd outshine her, and when this situation came up, it hit a nerve she didn't even realize was still there. I admitted that I hadn't always noticed how she felt, but now I could see how some of my actions might have unintentionally hurt her in the past. We both cried a little, and it felt like a lot of old wounds were finally being aired out. In the end, Emma decided to call off the wedding, at least for now. She said she needed time to figure out how she felt about Ryan, but more importantly, she needed to work on herself and her insecurities. We're still working on rebuilding our friendship, but I think we're on the right track. As for Ryan, I haven't heard from him, and I don't expect to. I'm sad that things ended this way, but I'm also relieved that Emma and I were able to talk through everything. In a strange way, I think this whole situation, as painful as it was, might have saved both of us from future heartache. I don't know what will happen with Emma and Ryan, but I'm hopeful that whatever comes next, she'll make the right choice for herself. So, no wedding for now, but at least I haven't lost my best friend. And maybe, in the end, that's what matters most.